So, you've got the feeling. I said in the title of this video, you will find this video when you're done reading scripts. You've got that feeling inside of you, that knowingness, that disconnect, that discomfort, that lack of alignment, that something feels off. Maybe you're actually making okay money. Maybe you're not, but perhaps you're making a few $1,000s a month, and yet you still feel off. So let me ask you a question. Do you think things in life are a coincidence? Do you think that feeling inside of you is random? Do you think you're watching my video and you saw this video that's titled, "You'll find this video when you're done reading scripts"? Do you think all of that is just coincidence? I know that you know, and I know that you know that I know the answer to that is no. You don't think there's such a thing as random coincidences. In fact, I know what you think. You think, but you've been ignoring it. You've been denying it. You think that every feeling inside of you is actually an action signal. It's something that you need to heed to, something you need to listen to because it's your conscience or a higher power, whatever you want to believe in, guiding you. Maybe it's an angel. It's something somewhere that is now giving you an action signal from inside of you that you've got, we'll call it the ick. You could be making some money. You could be getting some level of success with your scripted questions, but you still feel weird. You still feel like something's off. So as I said, this video is going to be the video that you have discovered when you are done. I didn't get you to come to this video. You didn't even get you to come to this video. Something above both you and I has led you here and me here, and we've now met in the middle for something to happen. And so what's going to happen in this video is I'm going to give you the only video you ever need to watch to stop reading scripts. Now, this isn't going to be me selling you on why scriptless selling is better than scripted. You've heard all that before. And as I'm going to explain in this video, that hasn't stopped you reading scripts. So this is going to be a completely different approach. And it's going to be the approach. It's going to be the only approach that you ever need to stop reading scripts because, as I said, the title of this video, you have found your way here, not randomly, not by coincidence, but by some type of divine intervention that you know inside of you, it's time. It's time for you to ditch the script and follow the path that has been laid out for you. That's why you have that feeling inside of you. So let's crack into the video. Now, if you don't already know, selling without a script was the thing that allowed me to earn over $100,000 a month in commissions and do that in a way where I actually was able to become the person that I wanted to become, and that's also how I made the money. In other words, the bridge between earning the money that I wanted and becoming the self-actualized unicorn closer was the methodology. If I had sold with a script, I wouldn't have earned $100,000 a month in commissions, and I think you know that's one of the reasons you're not earning the money that you want to earn. And also, I wouldn't have done much, if anything, in the way of becoming. The bridge, the fulcrum, the leverage point for you to earn the money and do that in a way where you're self-actualizing is always going to be the methodology. In fact, I've got other videos where I talk about the magnum opus and how if you want something to be your life's work, you want it to be your masterpiece, you want it to be your magnum opus, it's not about the vehicle. It's not about the opportunity. It's not about basketball or music or sales or business. It's about the way that you do any of those things. The thing that allows something to reach the highest level that it can reach for you, both in terms of results tangibly, like money or winning basketball championships, as well as be the vessel for you to become everything you can possibly be, is how you choose to approach whatever industry you're in. Now, obviously, myself, my clients, you, we're here talking about sales. So I'll ask you another simple question. and this isn't a trick question, do you want to stop using sales scripts? Do you want to stop using scripts in sales? Now, the reason I start with that, even though the intro to this video kind of assumes that the answer is yes, because you've been brought here, we have to remember how people make a change. The first thing, and I'm essentially going to run a sales call on you, one-way sales call here, but using the same principles that I use to lead my prospects, that I use to serve people, that I use to help people get out their own way. And the first principle of a sales call is you have to have shown up and admitted to yourself and admitted to me, hey, I'm here because I want to stop using sales scripts. So first of all, do you want to stop using sales scripts? Now, before you answer the question, there's all these things that just popped up in your head. Mind viruses and limited beliefs, and yeah, but how do I do that? And I'm not really sure, and like all of these doubts and fears and insecurities, and all of those came up because of the how. I didn't ask you, do you know how to stop using sales scripts? I didn't ask you, are you ready to go through that process? I'm just asking you the end goal that you want and that you would like right now. If I could wave a magic unicorn wand, or if I was the genie in the lamp and I could give you a wish, is one of those wishes, I want you, saying out loud with me, I want to stop using sales scripts. Do not get into the point where you're stopping yourself even doing that because you start thinking about the how, and because you don't know the how, you're then like, well, I guess I should maybe just not want the thing. Listen, in spirituality and in manifestation and in reality creation, one of the fundamental principles, and I learned this from my sales mentor because he taught me a way of selling that combines selling with spirituality. One of the core principles is that you imagine you live in the end. This is Neville Goddard. You feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled and you live in the end. You never, ever, 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 ever think, how am I going to get that thing? The moment you start thinking how, you block the manifestation because you go back up into logical thinking, three-dimensional thinking, cause and effect thinking, and that is literally the opposite of the fourth dimension up here and God or the universe, and you being able to manifest things without space, without time, but actually just through reality creation where you resonate with the vibration, the frequency, the energy of the end goal, and then now it's magnetically attracted to you. Whereas when you're trying to think in the how, not only are you saying, I don't have this thing, you're also now starting to doubt it. So the reason I explain all of that for you is I know a lot of you like hearing the understanding and the explanation of how the way I was taught to sell allowed me to teach, allowed me to lead, allowed me to be proud and inspired and joyful with all of these wonderful lessons that I learned. So that's why I'm going into depth, breaking down what I'm explaining to you in real time. So, do you want to stop using sales scripts? The answer, I assume you already said, is yes. I've stopped you, first of all, thinking about the how, just like on a sales call. I said, I'll teach you this like it would be a sales call. If your prospects start saying, well, can you just tell me the price? Or, well, how does it work? That's not how you sell someone. You don't sell someone with telling them how it's going to work, what all the steps are. And you probably already know when your prospects go into that way of thinking, that's the actual thing that stops them buying and taking action and changing and transforming. It's the same for you. When you start thinking about how am I going to learn to sell without a script, you don't end up selling without a script. You just keep going for days and weeks and months and years or decades, continuing to sell with a script. And it all starts with this first training. Now we're going to move on to the second bit, which is stop thinking about the how and make the decision, and then the how will take care of itself. The how won't even manifest into reality if you start thinking about the how before you commit to the decision. Okay, so that's the first piece. So, second piece of this training. Why do most salespeople, probably yourself, not actually say to themselves, and why haven't you said to yourself until now, because you're watching this video and you've been called here by divine intervention, why do salespeople know inside of them and feel inside of them this feeling that I don't want to read a script. I shouldn't be reading a script. It doesn't feel aligned to me. Something feels off. Something feels icky. Yet they don't actually just say, I'm done. I am done reading a sales script. And the reason for that is there's three levels of motivation to do anything. And this is also going to help you with selling. And so this 3 level of motivation comes from this personal development philosophy or framework called be, do, have. Be, do, have. And so the 3 levels are the having, the doing, or the being level of motivation. And so what my mentor taught me when I first got into sales is that in order to get someone to make a change, to get you to stop reading a script, by the end of this video, you're not going to keep reading a script. You're going to actually take the actions to stop reading a script and start learning scriptless selling, or actually self-actualized sales. And a piece of that is learning how to sell without a script. My mentor taught me on a sales call, your prospects are only ever, and so right now you're my prospect, only ever going to make a change when they can see and feel the severity of where they're currently at and the consequences of staying there. And so if we reverse engineer that, you haven't stopped selling using sales scripts because you haven't seen or felt the severity of your current situation and the consequences of staying there. So that's why you've been stuck. And so I'm going to fix that for you. You're welcome on this training. In order to change your level of severity and the level of consequences, I'm now going to use the 3 levels of motivation. So in specifically stopping using sales scripts, the lowest level motivation is the have. And the have is the promise. I could have tried to sell you the promise, which is why I don't do this and why I'm not doing this in this video. I could have sold you the promise. Hey, listen to me. If you stop selling with a script, you will make more money. You and I both know, you already know that argument. You already know if you're destined and your future is to be a unicorn closer, you already know because you've got a high enough IQ, high enough level of consciousness as well, not just intellectualizing the argument. You feel something, which is because you're at a higher level of consciousness, you have a more divine destiny, to say it simply. You already know sales scripts are making you less money, and selling without a script will make you more money. But yet you still sell with a script. And that's because it's the lowest level motivation. Now, I am not going to explain the tangible things about selling with a script is less flexible, it's less authentic, it's less adaptable. And because of those things, you'll make less money over time. That hasn't helped you already. So I have to give you, and that's the service I'm going to provide you in this training, something completely different. 2 more levels up. But I have to explain it to you as we go up the levels so that you understand what's been holding you back, and so you can take your own ownership and your own independent decision. You're going to keep allowing it to hold you back. So the first thing that's been holding you back is that in the levels of motivation, you've been at the have level, and the thing that you've been trying to tell yourself and failing at to stop selling with a script and align yourself to this action signal emotion, this gut feeling that something feels off, I need to stop selling with a script, it hasn't worked because you've just been at the have level. And there's 2 problems for that. The first reason that the have level of selling without a script will make you more money hasn't been effective is the ego problem. And so the ego problem is this. Whatever you're doing now with a script, you've got some level of competency. You've got some level of control. You've got some level of, feeling like you've got your shit together. Now, you already know, I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to remind you of something that you already know as I take you through this training. You know that when you ditch the script, you are probably going to have a dip in results. That's the honest truth. You're not going to go from selling without a script and earning 5 or 10 or 20K a month to selling without a script and bang, you're up to 30K, you're up to 40K, you're up to 100K. That's not going to happen. You are probably going to go backwards because you're now learning something new from a more fundamental level than learning the old thing and the wrong thing and the rigid, limited thing at a higher level. And how's that going to work on your ego? You are not going to like that. And so what I'm explaining to you is the idea that the argument to get you to stop selling with scripts to get you to stop selling with a script is it will make you more money is, yeah, but we've got this seesaw of make me more money, but my ego. Make me more money, but my ego. And your ego is more powerful than the argument of making you money, but it's not more powerful than the argument I'm going to give you at the end, which will stop you once and for all selling without a script. And that is why you found this video at the right time, at the time when something inside your divine body clock, divine soul clock said, enough's enough, mister, enough's enough, missus. You need to align yourself with your true calling, okay? So if your results are going to dip, your confidence is going to get challenged, your identity is going to get challenged, and your status of like, oh, I'm good at the wrong thing, the limited thing, feels better than being bad or worse at the right thing. Hopefully this makes sense. I think I don't need to spoon feed you if you're watching my channel instead of watching some donkey fucking channel about scripts and frameworks, like nonsense. You've already got a high enough IQ to understand what I'm saying. I'm kind of repeating it a little bit because I'm making this training as like a once and done one-stop shop. If you come across this video, just watch this video and you will be done reading scripts for the rest of your life. So that's why I'm probably going into more detail and depth than maybe you need right now. So bear with me. Oh, all right. So I'm just checking through my notes here. Therefore, the conclusion is money is not a strong enough reason because of your ego. The second reason, still to do with money not being a strong enough reason, is the comfort problem. If the average salesperson who was reading a script was like, my life fucking sucks, I need more money, I want to get richer, I want a car, I want a Ferrari, I want this, maybe the argument of, well, if you stop reading a script like an idiot and you actually learn to master real things like an adult and like an actual adult that learns psychology and learns human behavior and doesn't just sit there, you know, like a fucking retard sitting there, oh, let me read my script. I find it funny, this, to be honest, because it's just bonkers. Anyway, if most salespeople needed to make more money, maybe the argument of making more money might be enough. But that's not the truth. I've been in the sales industry now 5 years. I've trained tons of teams, some of the top sales teams in the industry, Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team, and even those closers on a sales team like Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team, they're still comfortable. And that's the thing is, if you're comfortable, if you're like, well, the extra money would be nice to have, but remember, you're going to have to go backwards and kind of lose a bit of status and lose a bit of credibility as you become more of a beginner in a bigger world, as we could say. The nice to have extra money, no way, shape, or form is that going to motivate you enough. Again, if it was, you would have already changed. So, to conclude part one, level one of the motivation that hasn't worked for you, and then after this video, you're never going to think again about, oh, I'm still trying to convince myself that I'll make more money if I sell without a script, and why the fuck is that not motivating me enough to actually stop reading a script? Because money is not enough for many reasons, but the main two reasons being your ego isn't enough to get over the making more money because your ego is more powerful. Your need for status, your need for, confidence is more powerful in terms of motivation and influence than the need for more money. The second reason is you don't even desperately need more money. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that. I definitely don't agree with that because money, and this is the culture of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, one of the beliefs, one of the truths of a unicorn closer is I need more money because earning no fucking money is unacceptable, but not because it's no fucking money. It's unacceptable because what it says about my journey of self-actualizing. You aren't doing much in the way of becoming your full potential, reaching what you're capable of, and realizing your destiny if you make 10K a month. Unless your destiny is fucking 10K a month, which you wouldn't be watching my channel if that was actually your destiny. I believe that if you're here, you're a future unicorn and you're just in waiting and in a holding pattern, waiting to actually step into your birthright and your calling. So the conclusion of this point is you won't be motivated enough by money because you aren't in this state of I absolutely have to make more money. So money's not going to be enough of a motivation. All right, so let's get into level two. Level two is the do. Now, What this means is if you've been sold the idea of selling without a script will make me more masterful at sales because I can read between the lines, I can adapt, I can be fluid, I've got unlimited word tracks because they all come into my head as I need them. The idea of like, well, I'll be better at sales, that's also not enough. For the simple reason, if it was enough, and you already know that having the skill of reading a human being, silencing your mind, being fully present, having the natural, authentic leadership and, talent of being able to communicate your point without it being someone else's words, if those things were actually enough, you would have already made the change. So I don't really need to labor the point of why the second level of motivation, the doing, I can do more in the way of sales mastery, is still not enough motivation because the proof is in the pudding. It hasn't changed you. And so, let me just double check my notes here. Yeah, I think that's it really. I think that's all we need to go into for the second point. So then the third and final level of motivation, and by the way, the next thing we're going to get into is I'm going to give you the perfect rendition of the third level of motivation after I've explained the difference that will change everything for you. You came across this video by some type of purpose, meaning synchronicity. You found it at the time that you were supposed to find it when you're done reading scripts. And so I'm going to give you every tool you need for that to consummate into a new chapter for you, a new reality. So the final level, obviously, is B. We've talked about have. Well, if I sell without a script, I'll have more money. Not motivating enough. If I sell without a script, I'll be better at sales. Not motivating enough. If I sell without a script, what will happen to who I am in terms of who I'm being? Now, for a unicorn, for those that are truly destined to be unicorn closers, the only motivation that's strong enough and the one that is infinitely, umpteen times more powerful is the chasm, the gap between who you're showing up as right now and who you know you could be. It's not about the gap in money. It's not about the gap in sales skills. It's the gap in, I've always had this knowingness inside me since I was a child, since I went to school, since I was living with my parents, that I'm different. I felt called, I felt chosen, I felt like I'm supposed to be a millionaire, I'm supposed to change the world, I'm supposed to be the maverick, I'm not supposed to be like the 99%, I'm supposed to be the 0.1%, or that would be the 1%. And so this is what really motivates unicorn closers. The problem is you've never connected the dots in the clarity I'm going to give you here in a minute of you shouldn't try and stop selling with a script and stop using sales scripts because of having more or doing more. The only reason you should stop selling using scripts is because of what it says about who you're being. You are being an infantile, cucked, like restricted, chastised, neutered, shackled, chained up, handcuffed version of your birthright, of what you're truly, truly made for on this planet, of what you're truly capable of your real potential. And as I say those things, and as I use that kind of pastoral type of wording, you already know this. I'm not telling you something that you need to learn. Again, you came to this video by divine intervention, so I'm not even doing anything here. I'm just channeling what I'm on the planet for, which is I had to start unlocking myself under the guidance of my mentor, and my calling in life is to unlock you, to help future unicorns find themselves. And by find themselves, what I mean is step into what they're truly meant to be. And that's what selling without a script is really all about. So hopefully you're enjoying this training. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, you can skip this. But if you've been watching my videos for weeks or months, you've gotten value, you've implemented, you're making more money because of it, the question I have for you is, what are you doing still sitting on the outside? Are you someone who's going to continue to just watch free content when deep down you know being on the inside, being mentored by me directly, being around other unicorn closers is the thing that would take you to the next level? If you think you're getting value from the free content I'm putting out here on YouTube, what do you think happens inside the mastermind? So if you know you're ready, if you're at that point, you've seen what you needed to see, click the link below this video, jump inside, I'll see you there. Now back to the training. So the have, the do, the be, the three motivations are the gateway drug, shouldn't use the word drug, are the gateway, the keys, the levels that you have to ascend to actually peak yourself over the mountain of, climbing this stupid mountain of getting better at scripts, getting better at tonality. It's like, no. You need to come down the hill on the other side, which is momentum and freedom and authenticity and real leadership and genuinity. By the way, I'm not cutting out any of these errors in the editing because, this is the whole point of Scriptless. Why? How could I do usually cut my videos, but that's just so that they're more compact. But I'm not going to cut this one. The whole point of Scriptless is you're still here. You're still connecting with me because I'm talking from my heart. Even if I fumble my words, even if I say stuff that I'm not supposed to say in the video, that's Scriptless. And it's not about I'm going to have more viewers. It's not about I'm going to do a better job in the YouTube video. It's who am I being? I want to be the person I'm meant to be, my potential, what I'm capable of, which is speaking authentically and developing that skill by speaking authentically. I will never develop my communication skills if I scripted out this whole thing and I was reading off a teleprompter. So I'm demonstrating this in real time. So if I can do it, why can't you? All right. So as I said, we are going to get into the perfect rendition of the third level of motivation that is going to stop you reading scripts once and for all. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into that rendition. Now, I could try explaining this to you and I could do a decent job, but why would I when there's someone who's done it better in a way that's going to move your emotional wheel, that's going to touch something deep inside your soul, and that you're going to be like, whoa, I came here for a reason. I came to this video. All right, so let me share my screen.
So what's this? You got a taster's choice moment between guys?
This is really nice. You got a thing for swans? Is this like a fetish? It's something like maybe we need to devote some time to?
Thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep and haven't thought about you since. You know what occurred to me?
No.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
Nope.
So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. You know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that. If I ask you about women, probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you'd probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help. I ask you about love, you'd probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes. Feeling like God put an angel on earth just for you. Who could rescue you from the depths of hell. And you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel. To have that love for her be there forever. Through anything. Through cancer. And you would know about sleeping sitting up in a hospital room for 2 months, holding her hand, because the doctors could see in your eyes that the terms visiting hours don't apply to you. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much. I look at you, I don't see an intelligent, confident man. I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid. But you're a genius, Will. No one denies that. No one could possibly understand the depths of you. But you presume to know everything about me because you saw a painting of mine. You ripped my fucking life apart. You're an orphan, right? Do you think I'd know the first thing about how hard your life has been? How you feel? Who you are? Because I read Oliver Twist? Does that encapsulate you? Personally, I don't give a shit about all that, because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some fucking book. Unless you want to talk about you, who you are. Then I'm fascinated. I'm in. But you don't want to do that, do you, sport? You're terrified of what you might say. Your move, Chief.
So, do you get it? Robin Williams, the actor, I think he's playing a character called Sean, talking to Will Hunting, which is Matt Damon. He's not saying to Matt Damon, you don't have all the answers. You've passed all the exams, you've read all the books, you've got all the word tracks of, knowing these people of history. He's not saying you can't do the masquerading of being a genius, being an intelligent person. He even admits you are a genius. What he's saying is, but you haven't really lived. You don't know through first-hand personal experiences anything. You don't know pain because you've never risked having pain. And you don't know love. You don't know success. You don't know achievement. You don't know experience because you haven't been willing to take a risk. You've been so afraid to lose, you've never actually truly won. Now, as I say those words to you, do you get it? That's you reading a sales script. Now, what was the core theme of this video? You came here, you found this video when you were done reading sales scripts because that feeling, you know the feeling. I know the feeling. We've both been there. Where you're like, I'm getting some results. I'm making some money. I've got my sales chops. Like I know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. Something just feels off. What is it that feels off? That feeling. Deep inside of you, your higher self, your potential knows you're cucking yourself. You aren't living your own experiences. They're not your words on the script. It's not your tonality on the script. It's not you being invested in the conversation, in yourself, in the prospect. You're fucking faking it. There's a whole wall, mask, chasm between you and real life. And that's why you're not growing as a person, and that's also why you're not earning the money that you'd like to be earning. Carl Jung calls this unearned wisdom, where you learn to do something by living venerally through something or someone else. You tried to stop reading scripts by saying it's going to make you more money. That's true, but it didn't motivate you. You tried to say, I'm going to stop reading sales scripts because I'm going to be better at sales. I'm going to have more skills. I'm not going to be limited to the word tracks. That wasn't motivating enough. But you've still got that feeling biting you, eating you up, gnawing away inside of you. It's because the thing that's actually going to motivate you if you're destined to be a unicorn is the being that you are not doing, that you are not realizing, that you're not self-actualizing, that you're not stepping into, you are not being, you are not doing the transformation of being more, becoming more, because these aren't your own words. So hopefully it makes sense now that you watch that clip. To me, that clip, I couldn't put it better myself. I couldn't dramatize, exemplify, articulate what that gnawing feeling is inside of you anywhere near as good as that piece of perfect acting. It's not even acting. I mean, Robin Williams and Matt Damon in that clip, they are tapping into something that is the story of human potential, which is as old as time. It's the hero's journey. It's Joseph Campbell. It's every movie. It's every idol that you look up to. What you look up to is the fact that they've traversed the gap from what they were to what they could have become, and they've actually realized that. And that's what you connect to and you resonate with in books, in movies, in stories, in people, the greats, the Michael Jordans of the world that you look up to. What you actually resonate with is, fuck, this person actually found out what they were capable of. And it motivates you, it inspires you, but it also makes you feel somewhat guilty and shameful, because you're like, am I on my path of becoming? And the answer is no. So to conclude this video, I'm going to replay that, and I'm going to break it down as we go with actual sales examples. But remember this: I am not trying to tell you or sell you to stop selling without a script and to start selling without a script, scriptless selling or self-actualized selling, because I'm trying to tell you one way is better than the other. One's going to make you more money, one's right and one's wrong, and one's going to make you a better salesperson. I don't need to tell you any of this, because you already fucking know. Your gut feeling is an action signal. It's synchronicity in life. It's not random. I asked you at the start of the video, do you believe shit is random? And you were like, no. So what's that gut feeling? It's an action signal. So I don't need to tell you scriptless selling is the way. What I'm actually guiding you to is the deep truth of what it actually is, which is scriptless selling is the difference between you never living your own experience or you actually living your own experience. How deep is that? It doesn't get any deeper than that. You've got one shot around this planet, one shot on Earth. You're going to live it living through someone else's words, someone else's tonality, someone else's fucking script. Come on, man. You're going to waste your life away. Forget the money. Forget the better salesperson. You're going to waste your life being the player one of your own life? Or you're going to be a fucking, what do they call it? An NPC, non-playing character. It's what you're doing right now, and that's why some 0.1% of salespeople who aren't supposed to be the NPCs in the Matrix, which is most salespeople. I don't create content for those people. They're not meant to be enlightened in this lifetime, and that's fine. Their journey's another lifetime. But you're watching this video. You've come to this video, the one that was titled, "You'll watch this video when you're meant to watch this video and stop using scripts." I titled it that way so that I'm not trying to tell you scriptless selling is going to make you $100,000 a month in commissions, and then you come to the video because I'm selling you a promise. No, I'm putting a video out there and letting your gut feeling, your intuition, your higher self guide you to it when the time is right. And that's why you're watching this video right now. The real enemy is borrowed wisdom, borrowed words, borrowed certainty, borrowed identity. It's not yours. And that's also why you have this gnawing insecurity, because what security can you have when you're borrowing someone else's confidence and certainty? You make some money, and I know what happens. You hit 15K a month in commissions, and you did that with a script, and yet you feel insecure. You know why you feel insecure? Because they're not your skills. If you hit 15K because of what you were capable of, you'd hit that 15K and you'd go and celebrate. You'd go party, not drink and drugs, but you'd celebrate. You'd do something cool. Whereas when you hit 15K, you need to hold on to the money like a little scaredy pants. And the reason you're scared is because your gut feeling knows it's all borrowed. If you're borrowing the skills, when you get the money in your bank, it's borrowed money. Like people say, you are on borrowed time right now, and you know it. It's why you have that gut feeling of uncertainty and scarcity mindset and limiting beliefs about, leveling up your lifestyle. You don't move to a bigger place because you know that 15K commission, that 5K, that 20K, that 30K, that 10K, you're like, am I going to get that again next month and the month after and the month after and the month after? And your subconscious or your conscience, if you journal, is like, probably not, because I don't own these skills. I don't own the words. I don't own the tonality. I don't own the body language. I'm just hijacking, hacking, piggybacking on the fucking bandwagon of someone else. Well, how much longer do you want to live with that feeling? It sucks. How about you become the person you could become, which that in and of itself is enough. And because of that, you sell through who you are, not the words you said that you stole and borrowed from someone else. And then when you earn the money, you feel proud. You've earned the money, not borrowing the money and, current careholder of it. You've actually earned that money. And when you earn it, you'll be like, I can spend it because I've received it by deserving it, and I can give it away and use it and burn through it and enjoy it because I'll just cycle it back around and it will come back to me because I've become that person. And you'll have this flywheel of peace and tranquility. It's what I want for you. That's what a unicorn closer should have, is they should be in a state of abundance, peace, joy, electricity, magnetic, so that they can serve people. Whereas you're not serving all the people you could serve because you're not in that feeling because you haven't earned that feeling. Hopefully this makes sense. So let's break down what was going on in that video, and I'll give you some very tangible examples.
So what's this? We got a taster's choice moment between guys?
This is really nice. You got a thing for swans?
So the first thing, the person that has unbelievable potential, which is you, that hasn't stepped into their potential, has an attitude, has an ego, has an arrogance. He can't even sit there quietly, which is just like, you can't fucking sit there quietly in your mind on your sales calls without having to crack a joke and get into rapport and seek approval and seek validation. By the way, the scripted closers that are the ones that know they shouldn't be selling with a script, not the ones that aren't at the level of consciousness to know that, but the ones that know they shouldn't be selling with a script, they are the biggest people pleasers, seeking approval, seeking validation, all because deep inside of them, they're not being honest with themselves. They're lying to themselves. They're not listening to their gut intuition and acting on it. And so they start people pleasing because they're like, there's some like coping mechanism that's like afraid that the other person won't like them if they actually looked into their eyes and saw you're lying to yourself. So you have to, oh, you like that football team as well? Oh, wow, that's really lovely. Your kids did this, blah, 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 blah. That's the closers that are selling with a script that know they shouldn't be. They are the worst at this. And so I say that because that's you. Seeking approval, seeking validation, Mr. Nice Guy, Mrs. Nice Gal. And that's exactly what Will Hunting, the Matt Damon character here, is doing, is cracking all these jokes rather than actually having the somber seriousness of life's true destiny, which is the good and the bad and the ugly, which is what Sean, Robin Williams, gets into now. It's like, to be authentic, you have to have been willing to risk it all to also gain it all. That's what authenticity means. You've lived the width and breadth of the spectrum. Okay?
It's like a fetish. It's something like maybe we need to devote some time to.
Thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep and haven't thought about you since.
So, the second bit. He realized sadness for Will Hunting, this guy that, as we're about to hear, has so much potential, yet his arrogance and his ego is the very thing keeping him from living a single day of his own life. All he's doing is living life venerally through the other people's lives of all the books he's read. Oh, yeah, you know about Shakespeare. Oh, you know about Mona Lisa. Oh, you know about St. Paul's Cathedral. Well, have you been and done or seen or lived any of those things? No. Now, what Sean, Robin Williams, is saying in this bit, and this is really important, is why I'm filming this video as a one-off, once and done, masterpiece, masterclass, whatever, that you're going to find when you're ready to find it. And I'm not going to promote it or try and make people watch it, put some stupid title about how scriptless selling will 10x your income. What Robin Williams, Sean says is like, I thought about it, I felt sad, and then I was like, whatever. And that's kind of the place that I'm in now of like, if I put this video out there and you watch this video, which you won't do what I'm about to say, watch this video and then still not take an action to go and read a script, I give up on you because you gave up on yourself. Not my problem anymore. I will continue to mentor and train the unicorn closers that are going to earn $100,000 a month in commissions. I will continue to mentor and take more closers to earning $100K a month in commissions. I've already taken 5. In a small group at the time of getting 5 there, 100 people. 5 out of 100. All of us within 17 months or less. So I'm not going to sit here, like Robin Williams is saying, and have sleepless nights after I record this video and put this out if I've done everything I can in this video and you still want to play small. And more importantly than play small, you still want to ignore and live more days with that feeling, that knot inside of your chest, which is your conscience, which is your truth, which is your path to transcending. If you want to ignore it after this video, like Robin Williams says, the mentor will just go, I'm sad for them, but I'm not going to be sad with them. I'm not going to bring my level of consciousness down and try and drag you up if you want to continue to not be the person you're destined to be. Maybe it's in another lifetime for you, but I don't think that is you. But I wanted to explain the architecture of this mythology here, because this is all narrative that's in mythology that's going on right now in this section. Is the mentor, myself in this case, Robin Williams in that case, basically feels sad for the people that they just don't get it. They just don't get it. But then you're like, okay, I will do my best, which is what Robin Williams does with this meeting with the character played by Matt Damon, Will Hunting. And then he moves on. And as he says at the end, your move, Chief. And that's what I'm going to say at the end of this video. Your move, Chief. You don't want to do anything about it? I'll go to bed and I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll join the Zoom call with the unicorn closers. We'll talk at the start of the call like we do every time about the wins that we've just had for the week. Closers making their first 5K, 10K, 20K, 50K, 70K, 100K. More importantly, closers actually aligning with what feels right to them, not having these internal disintegrations and lack of integrity and discombobulation of their actual true nature, and closers that are using sales as a vehicle to become the best version of themselves, and as a result of that, live their dream lives. Get the cars, retire their parents, have the watches, have the house, travel the world. I will focus there, and if you want to join us, your move, Chief. If you don't want to join us, I'll still be over there doing my thing with the unicorns. All right, let's keep going through the breakdown.
You know what occurred to me?
No.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
And that is the line. You, no matter how old you are, and I could say this and they won't mind me saying it, I'll use one of the unicorn closers as an example. Jacob joined the mastermind, was making $7,500 a month. Within 16 months, hit $100,000 a month in commissions. But when he joined, just like Will Hunting, just like myself as well, had the arrogance, had the ego, had the know-it-all tendency, and I looked at him because I had been there and I could see myself in him, and I've also transcended it, so I could see it from a third-person perspective. I was like, this guy's just a kid. I don't know how old Jacob was, maybe 30s, early 30s. And that's genuinely, being blunt with you, and I have nothing to hide here, how I look at you. When you are reading a script and you know better, to do something that you shouldn't be doing when you know better is not an adult's behavior. It's not a responsible citizen of the world's behavior. Certainly not a responsible person that's going to show up to calls to serve people, and instead of serving, you're going to sabotage your prospects. You're going to let them down. You're going to leave them suffering because you didn't align with the truth that you already knew. You're just a kid that doesn't know anything. Until you align to the things that you should be doing, you don't know something. This is an Alex Hormozi quote where he says, you haven't learned something until you change the behavior. If you've read a book on how to do X, but you're still doing Y, you haven't learned anything. And a person that hasn't learned anything is what? A child. An impotent child. If you know you shouldn't be reading a script and you're still doing it, you're a child. Okay?
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
You've never been out of where you grew up. You spent your whole life living in a shell of what you were capable of. Boston is the metaphor for the home, comfort zone, limited territory, never crossing the threshold to the unknown world, the outlands, I think they call it in Lion King, where Simba goes out to the outlands and finds Scar and the hyenas. This is all mythology, by the way. That's you. You haven't left your hometown. Even if you've physically been on a plane and gone to another place, it's metaphor, meaning you're not supposed to leave the hometown of your physical terrain. You're supposed to leave the hometown of your mind. The places that you've been what they call it in doing LSD and stuff is like a cosmonaut or an astronaut, but they used astronaut and psychonaut. That's it. The game is about being a psychonaut, meaning have you gone to new heights and new levels and new altitudes, new stratospheres in your mind? If you've gone all around the world on an airplane, but you're still reading a sales script, you haven't left Boston. And even worse, you've traveled the whole world, all of these countries, and spent all this money getting on a plane, but you're still the same mind architecture that you were when you were fucking 12 years old. Do you get it? Hopefully I'm dramatizing this enough that you get it, that it's like the reason to stop selling with a script is not to make more money, although you will. It's not to get better at sales and leadership, although you will. So that you can actually start living your own life. You know, which is what the gut feeling is, that all those travel trips, all those dates you've been on if you're a guy, all of the gym workouts you've done, all of these external distractions, copes, are all just the thing that you're doing to avoid having to do the workout in here. Lift the weights in here. Talk to the pretty girl in here. I don't mean imagine it. I mean, those are metaphors for you doing the thing that you're afraid of in here. Facing your internal fears to sell without a script. That's when you'll first start becoming someone.
Nope.
So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. I know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that. If I ask you about women, you'd probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times.
You may have even been laid a few times. You may have earned some commissions. But you don't know what it feels like to earn a single dollar that you earned with your own words. Do you know how sad that is? You haven't earned $1 in high-ticket sales, in commissions, that you've earned by being you. You haven't earned $1 from selling because of who you are. You've earned $1 from selling using someone else's words, someone else's tonality, someone else's body language, someone else's order of the script. Man, life can't get more empty than that. Not a single dollar. Not one. Not one. The first dollar you make, and it won't be one, it'll be $500 or $1,000 in commissions, where all of that first commission check, that first sale, where you sold scriptless, man, you made me cry. You don't know what it's going to feel like. But search your feelings, search your soul, and imagine. What is it going to feel like where you see payment received, payment confirmed on the checkout page when you've just put the prospect's credit card details in and you're like, they bought because of me? They bought because of me? Who I am? Man. You don't know what the Sistine Chapel smells like. You've looked at pictures of it. You've read books on it. You've chat GPT'd it. But you never stood there and gone, wow, I can actually smell it. That's you taking every fucking sales call, yet you've never actually once been present. You've never once looked into the eyes and the soul of a prospect, not once. You don't know what it feels like to actually connect with a stranger. Obviously, you've connected with people in your life, connected and had soulful, deep conversations with a partner or a family member or a friend, but you've never done that over a Zoom call with a total stranger and realized, not only can I do it with them, but it's even deeper and more powerful with them. You've never, ever, ever, like Sean Robin Williams was saying to Will Hunting, I could ask you, tell me about tonality. Well, you've got the lost old man tonality, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one. Really? You could recite all of the information like Will Hunting about art and about, you know, what did he say? That not Mona Lisa, but he said Picasso or something. But you've never picked up a paintbrush. You can recite all the tonalities and you can recite them with your vocal cords, but you've never actually used your instrument yourself. This is a Vin Yang thing, the guy that teaches speaking. He says, this is an instrument. You've never even played your own instrument once. You don't know how to do or couldn't do what I'm doing in this video, connecting to you using my tonality, using my voice. Because it's not on a script. You'd be like, fuck, where's the script? Do you want to get to a place where you can do what I can do and I can actually talk to you and connect with you and use my voice? You're never going to get there by reading books and practicing and role-playing your tonalities. You get there by using tonality authentically in real communication. You could tell me all the word tracks. You could tell me all 5 sections of a script. You got this set, you got the situation, you got the problem, you got the future pacing, you got this, that, and the other. You've read all the books. You can recite the frameworks, but you don't know a thing about a real conversation. You don't know anything. Nothing, because you've never had one on a sales call. Not one.
But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy.
You can't tell me what it feels like to get to the end of a call and prospect gives you an objection. And because you've had an authentic, honest, no bullshit, real conversation, you just say nothing. You just sit there in silence. And the prospect waits and waits, and then they just start handling their own objection. And you're like, wow. Inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, one of the things that we do through the journey is I rewire the beliefs of what salespeople thought was real or thought was possible or thought was the only way by them learning self-actualized sales. One of them is you don't have to fucking do follow-up. Your prospects will follow up with you if you do sales the right way. You don't have to handle objections. You don't have to learn objection handling word tracks. You don't have to have a rigid framework for the call. You don't have to have word tracks. You don't have to practice your tonality once. I have not done one single tonality training that allowed me to be the salesperson that I became. I learned tonality training by doing the courses so that I could see, with respect to those trainers, because I'm not dissing the trainer, what a load of fucking bullshit it is. So I wouldn't sit here and say, well, you know, tonality is bullshit if I hadn't done all the courses. I've done the inner circles. I've done the 3.50s and all of the trainings. So that I can tell you, didn't need it. Didn't need it at all. I'd already got to $50,000 a month in commissions before any of that. And then I learned it. And then I was like, no, this isn't aligned with me. And then I hit $100,000 a month in commissions, not using any fake tonality or any scripts or any word tracks or any objection handling metaphors or analogies or ice cream trucks.
tough kid. I ask you about war, you probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friend.
Think of that. The person that, when asked about war, recites a war story versus, I remember a time when I sat down with my grandpa who fought in, it must have been World War II, and I asked him about it, and he couldn't fucking talk about it because it was just too devastating for him. Now, yes, that's pain, but I loved my grandpa and I respected my grandpa. My grandpa was a character because he lived those experiences. My grandpa wouldn't have been the incredible character he was if he'd have read war stories. He had a sense of humor. He was strong-minded. He was a man's man because he went to war. What about you? Maybe you don't want to go to war, but like you want to actually go to war for your prospects on a sales call and fight for them with truth and with integrity and with honesty and with courage. We want to just go there and talk war stories with them. Oh, my scripted question and your scripted answer. And you wonder why your prospects give you bullshit canned lines in their responses. Because you're giving nonsense canned questions.
But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help.
You don't know what it's like. You've never been on a sales call to see your prospects struggling for the words and grasping with them and fighting for their own life to transcend their limitations and how they've been showing up because they've seen the example that you've been setting. When you're on the call and you're trying to find the right words to tell truthfully what you're curious about and ask the questions from the heart, you're demonstrating in real time to your prospects how they should be showing up, fighting for it with all of their might and all of their courage and their level 200 on the levels of consciousness, the courage to actually figure it out on the fly. You don't know what it looks like or feels like and the privilege and the pride of being a real closer that exemplifies through authentic leadership how your prospects should work themselves through their challenges just like you are.
I ask you about love, probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes.
You don't know what it's like for someone to be vulnerable with you because you've not been vulnerable with them. You don't attract what you want in life. You attract what you are. When I role play with my clients and they're role playing, they're pretending to be a prospect, almost every time, and the videos are on YouTube so you can see them, almost every time they cry, yet they're being a pretend prospect. It's because you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And if I'm role playing as the closer, being authentic, they can't even continue to hold a disingenuous frame of being a fake prospect. They slip into their real truth. And I break them, not break them in terms of like try and make them cry, but I get to a truth that they have to face. And the truth is often brutal. But you don't know what that feels like to have other people be vulnerable with you, because why would someone feel safe and that they can trust to be vulnerable with you when you don't even trust yourself to be vulnerable with yourself? And the truth is that inability that you've chosen, it's not an inability that you permanently have, but it's something you've chosen to disenable yourself from, is not strength. It's not strong to be the non-vulnerable person. It's fear, which is insecurity, which is weakness. A unicorn does have weaknesses that they have to transcend, and you'll only start transcending them when you stop denying them and living in denial and repressing them and suppressing them, which in the book Letting Go are the things that keep you from letting go. To let go of something and transcend an emotion, a level of consciousness, you first have to accept and feel the authenticity of that level of consciousness. And the level of consciousness that you guys have right now, you gals that are still reading a script when you know you shouldn't be, not because Josh told you or you're going to make more money and you shouldn't be, but because your heart is telling you you shouldn't be, which is why you found this video. When you don't live that truth, you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And all you're doing is there's metaphors for this story as well. You're like the person that's trying to protect yourself from getting hurt by locking yourself in your own house. There's people that have a phobia of like leaving the house because they want to be safe. Well, you're not safe when you lock yourself in your house. You're weak. You're a rabbit. You're the most vulnerable that you can possibly be in your own head. As in your demons are going to start attacking you in your own head, which is where this action signal gut feeling is coming from, is it's telling you, stop being afraid, stop being weak, stop being small, stop playing small. You can do it. Have the bravery, have the courage. That's what the action signal is telling you, is have the vulnerability to fuck up selling without a script. And you will. You'll screw it up a bunch of times. But that's courage. That's courage to screw it up. To be Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, which is the OCD scripted closers that shouldn't be using a script, and no, they shouldn't. They're almost always neurotic OCD perfectionists, which isn't coming from needing to be perfect. It's coming from feeling not good enough. That usually came from your parents, going into a little bit of Freudian psychoanalysis here. Like your parents either mollycoddled you and treated you too well, and now you're like, am I actually strong as a person when my parents just coddled me? Or you had parents that you had some more difficult times growing up. Anyway, that rabbit hole we'll leave there. Your lack of decision to be vulnerable is not strength. It's just you continuing to corroborate with the negative thoughts that you're telling yourself that you're already not enough. You're literally agreeing with it by the way you're showing up. If you were enough, you wouldn't be afraid to fail. I'll leave you with that line. If you were actually enough, you'd have nothing to lose to fail, because if you fail, you fall down on your face. Like Rocky's trainer said to him, you just get back up and you fight again. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And that comes from your own sense of self-worth. And your self-worth starts to shine. The brilliance of you, your actual glory and your greatness only starts to shine when you allow it to shine. And you don't allow it to shine by trying to be perfect. You allow it to shine by allowing yourself to fail.
Feeling like God put an angel on earth just for you, who could rescue you from the depths of hell. And you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel. To have that love for her be there forever. Through anything. Through cancer. And you would know about sleeping sitting up in a hospital room for 2 months, holding her hand, because the doctors could see in your eyes that the terms visiting hours don't apply to you. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself.
We talk a lot inside the mastermind about sales is service. It's God's work. You don't know when you don't love something more than you love yourself. You don't know true meaning and purpose and fulfillment and destiny and calling and spirituality and being a vessel and being a shepherd for people and being meant to be alive, because you care more about yourself and your own need to look perfect on the sales call than your prospects. Your prospects don't want or need you to be perfect. They want and need you to be what they need to be, which is courageous. That's what leadership means. Demonstrate for the person what you want them to do, which will serve them. If the thing that will serve them is bravery and courage and facing their own demons, then what do you do as a leader? You demonstrate the same thing, and you're demonstrating the literal opposite, which is why you don't earn much money, because you literally have an energetic conflict with reality. Reality is you earn the money when you earn the money, when you've earned it by being in the vibration and the frequency of the person that would resonate with that. The person that would earn the money from their prospects is the one that is authentically leading their prospects. Authentic leadership is doing what you're what you're so cruelly and disingenuously telling your prospects to do. Face your fears, be brave, just give it one shot and take a risk and invest in yourself and back yourself. And you're not doing that, you fraud.
I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much.
Keyword, dared. Will you dare? Do you dare to step into your greatness? One of my favorite poems is, it starts with, "It's not our darkness that most frightens us. It's our light." And when we allow ourselves to shine our light, I don't know what the word is in the poem, but it's like without intending to, we allow and give others the gift of being allowed to shine their own light. Will you dare to ditch the scripted questions at the end of this video and learn to sell without a script and step into a new unicorn closer environment of other closers that dared? The motto of the SAS, the Special Air Service, one of the highest levels of the military? Who dares wins. Who dares wins. Great motto for life. It's not who's more perfect wins. Who's perfect wins. No. Who dares wins. Do you dare? Will you dare? The end of this video, I dare you to dare yourself to let your greatness shine. You're not afraid of your darkness. You're afraid of what you could actually become if you became everything you could possibly be. You're going to live your whole life afraid of that? Hope not.
I look at you, I don't see an intelligent, confident man.
I look at scripted closers and I don't see any intelligent, competent, confident human beings. I see scared, shitless little girls and little boys that are reading someone else's words because they're so afraid of what they would say if they tried to speak for themselves. Think of that. Imagine being someone that's a grown adult. An overgrown infant, as Jordan Peterson would say it, that hasn't grown up to have their own voice. How sad. Honestly, if I'm really blunt, it's repulsive. You're 20 years old, you're 25, you're 30 years old, you're 35 years old, and you don't even have your own voice? And well, I've got a voice when I'm in my real life. What do you mean your real life? So when you're on a call serving someone that's broke, that's out of shape, that isn't dating the person they want, that wants to live their life to the next level, that's not real. It's only real when you're using your own voice with your family members or your friends or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. It's not real when it's a prospect. That's a big cope if I ever heard one. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's like you don't even have your own tonality. You don't even have your own emotion like I'm demonstrating. This is my real, authentic emotion. You've probably not seen it like this because I'm starting to demonstrate what I'm saying to you to do, which is to just talk more from my heart, even though I've been doing this now for a few years. Not creating content, but selling from my heart. But even I'm learning, and I'm scared sometimes. My voice is breaking. My throat's drying up. I need a drink of water, but I'm just going to keep going. Because how could I ask you to do what you should do if I don't demonstrate to you what you should do? Doesn't matter if your voice is breaking. Doesn't matter if you say the wrong things. Doesn't matter if you repeat yourself. I'm talking heart to you because I see myself in you. Someone that knows they're destined for more. And they just haven't had the mentor until I found the underground mentor that said, come on, enough's enough. You have to grow the fuck up. You can't be an overgrown infant that doesn't have your own voice, your own truths, your own philosophies, your own values, your own credo, your own mission, your own purpose. So I'm sharing that with you.
I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid.
That's all I see with. And to be clear, if someone is selling with a script, which is 99% of closers, and they don't have the level of consciousness that this lifetime is not their lifetime to transcend, they don't have that gut feeling. They can keep reading a script. That's perfectly fine. Their level of consciousness doesn't even allow them to feel that it's incongruent with themselves, their destiny, because their destiny isn't a bigger destiny in this lifetime. I'm only talking to you. You, the closer that is reading a script that knows you shouldn't be. All I see is a cocky, arrogant, yappy closer. Oh, I've got my perfect script and I closed 16.5% this month and I made 10K. I made 30K. And I made 20K I made 20K my 8th week in sales. 8th week. And you're at 30K 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years in. It's not impressive. Got 5 closers that hit $100,000 a month in commissions within 17 months or less. 17, 16, 15, 15, and 14 months. That's all 5 of us. And you're like impressed with 30K. And it's not even about the money. Is that your full potential? If it was, you wouldn't have that gut feeling that brought you to this call and the synchronicity moment that arrived you and I here today.
But you're a genius, Will.
But you're a genius. No one denies it. You are here because you have the potential. The other closers that are reading a script are still in their scripted trainings, not watching my channel. Not because they haven't found it. Destiny will find that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Some students aren't meant to have a teacher in this lifetime, as I keep saying. You're here because you have greatness inside of you. And that's the chasm, that's the gap. And the bigger the gap, or even if there's any noticeable gap, that's what creates the action signal. The gut feeling, the knot inside of you, the constant, even when you make a commission check at the end of the month and you make some money, 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K, you're not able to enjoy it. Have you not thought about that? Like, why aren't I enjoying the money I'm making, even though it's more money than I ever made before in my life or ever made in my 9 to 5? Or even if you made the same amount of money or more in your 9 to 5, you're like, and I'm able to work from anywhere in the world and work on a laptop and live on a beach in Bali. Yeah, I still don't feel satisfied. Have you not thought about why that is? You don't feel satisfied because you're not in truth. And you should realize your blessings that you are someone that has a high enough level of consciousness on the planet, on this lifetime, which is a rarity. Hence, you're a unicorn in waiting. You're a future unicorn to even have the action signal. Don't throw away your blessings or they won't keep coming to you. As they say, to he who has everything, everything shall be given. To he who has nothing, everything shall be taken away. You are setting yourself up for a fall if you have the blessing that you've got the gut feeling and you don't act on it. Mark my words, you will go kamikaze.
No one denies that. No one could possibly understand the depths of you. But you presume to know everything about me because you saw a painting of mine.
You presume to know everything about your prospects because you used the right tonality to open them up. You used the right word track to open them up. You used the right order of the script to get them to tell you the thing. You don't know anything about your prospects. And you know why? Because you don't know anything about yourself. When you are borrowing someone else's words, borrowing someone else's tonality, borrowing everything and authority and leadership and confidence and certainty and any capability from someone else, you will start to know other people. And this is how you learn to read human beings. When you energetically are on the frequency, the vibration, the wavelength of authenticity in yourself, then you can it's like a download. You just get plugged into the fucking main line of like God's creation. And you're like, wow, I can just see between the lines. I can hear between the words. Their tonality, it's like a siren that you're just like, that's fake tonality. And it's like the Matrix where everything slows down and the bullets just fly over you. It's unfucking believable. You have no idea what it's like. Because until you actually start being real with yourself and know yourself, you don't know anything about other human beings. All you know is the superficial, inside a box, cucked, bullshit, fake conversation that you're having when you have a scripted conversation.
I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid. But you're a genius, Will. No one denies that. No one could possibly understand the depths of you. But you presume to know everything about me because you saw a painting of mine. You ripped my fucking life apart. You're an orphan, right?
You try and rip your prospects apart with some, not double tie down, what they call it, where like, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. Like with these, verbal tie-ups and these analogies and metaphors to just like wrangle them. And it's literally fucking horrible manipulation because you're doing that to someone when you're not even being authentic with yourself. It's horrible. And so you're using those metaphors and you're using those analogies to try and rip your prospects up so that they have to buy. I wish I could remember the word for where you use like a double bind. That's it, a double bind, where like, do you want the blue one or the green one? And that's not a good example, but there's ones that closers use where it's like, so do you want to keep being broke or do you not want to be rich? And it's like, what? Like, you use these things to try and rip up your prospects, to try and box them into a corner. Yet you're like doing that based on some tactic, not based on asking questions, listening, being curious, silencing your mind, being fully present, reading them, not judging them, and listening to the data that they say, and then saying, well, you said this thing that you'd like, and then you said this thing, and at least from where I'm sat, those two things are contradicting each other. And you're serving the prospect with the truth as opposed to trying to rip them up, as Sean Robin Williams says here, from a painting of mine that you saw with me. You're trying to rip your prospects up from some pre-planned word track or metaphor or analogy where they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. And you wonder why, if you have a high level of consciousness, that you have a conscience, that you feel bad. And you feel bad even when you make money. You're in a double bind. Well, I either don't make money and then I'm pissed off because I make money, or I make money from selling a script and then I can't spend the money because I don't feel proud that I earned it. You're in a fucking double bind.
You're an orphan, right? Do you think I'd know the first thing about how hard your life has been? How you feel? Who you are? Because I read Oliver Twist. Does that encapsulate you? Personally, I don't give a shit about all that because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some fucking book.
When I hear a closer saying a tonality or saying something in a fake pre-planned tonality or a word track or an analogy or a script, I literally struggle to not laugh because I'm like, I can't learn anything from you that I can't learn going and joining someone else's course and just watching the video or downloading their script and with the in brackets and color coded for retards, what tonality. It's like, that's another point. It's like, what, you need color coding? What are you, 2? You need paint by numbers, color in the fucking coloring book. You have a script that's got colors on it. We're not 2 years old anymore, folks. Your coloring book on your script. Anyway, that's another question, another point. So it's like, I forgot what he was saying now. Again, scriptless. Forgot what I was saying.
Unless you want to talk about you.
Oh, yeah. So can't learn anything from you as a closer when you're just using other people's word tricks that I couldn't learn going and talking to Jim, the closer, or Jenny, the closer. It's like, if you're destined to be one of one, a unicorn, unique, like your actual personal birthright is an energy signature that is unique to you, like, does it not bother you? Of course it bothers you because you've got that gut feeling which brought you here, but rhetorical question. How much does it bother you? Is it bothering you enough that you're actually going to do something about it? That there's nothing. You have zero worth and zero value in sales that I couldn't get just going and talking to one of the 1,000 or 100,000 carbon copies of you. Like, that should eat you up. Like the ripping that I just gave you there of like, you're nothing. There's nothing about you that's valuable because all you are is a carbon clone of 100,000 other closers. And you can say, well, no, because I did 3 courses and I mashed them all together. Fucking another cope, another bullshit cope. And you know it's a cope. How about you become you and you become the best version of you? What's your name? You become how about you become the best version of your name? So what Sean is saying to Will Hunting here is like, if you just continue to be this person, is what Sean is saying to Will Hunting, I can't learn anything from you that I couldn't learn from a book. Think of the people around you, your friends, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a future girlfriend, a future boyfriend, a future husband, a future wife, your parents, your children, even worse. Think of those people when they can't learn anything from you that they couldn't get going and downloading some sales course and just going through it and like, oh, you speak like that. You say that. You use that tonality. Like, how embarrassing would that be if your girlfriend went and watched the course that you went through and realized you talk like them? Or your boyfriend, or your parents, or probably the worst ones, your children. I do not want my children to hear anything that I ever say in my life and go, oh, I heard someone else say that. As in, I could reference someone, but I don't want them to be like, when you talk, Daddy, you just sound like so-and-so. Fuck that. But that's the life you're living right now.
In some fucking book.
In some fucking sales course.
Unless you want to talk about you.
You want to talk from you? You want to talk your own words? You want to talk with your own emotion and intention that creates your own tonality? Then what Sean's about to say, I'm all in. The people around you are going to check the fuck out the more you dig yourself into the hole of not being a real person, just being a copycat, the fucking Pink Panther, like a clone of somebody else. People will start checking out of your life. If you haven't already seen, they do. I see a lot of closers, their girlfriends, their relationships with their girlfriend isn't good and they end up breaking up. Their relationship with their boyfriend's not good. They end up breaking up. Their relationship with their parents isn't good. That falls apart. Their relationship with their children isn't that great. And you know what happens? When closers join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, they heal. They heal their relationships with their parents. They heal their relationships with their children. They heal their relationships with romantic partners because they heal their relationship with themselves. And everything's a mirror. And when they become true to themselves, their parents, I've had closers in my mastermind that like, my dad and I, my mom and I, we have not been close my entire life. And for the first time, I heard my dad say, I love you, son. Or my mom say, thank you. Or I love you. Like, if that doesn't break your fucking heart and make you realize the fucking shambles that you've been playing sales as so far, I don't know what will. I'm trying my best here to get this through to you so that you don't waste another day not living your own life, not connecting with people, having true bonds with people, because you can't bond with someone when they're bonding with, your an emulator of you. It's just a fucking mirage. What is your girlfriend bonding with? What is your father or your mother bonding with? What are your children bonding with when you are just a fake clone? And please don't use the rationalization of, well, I'm not like that when I'm off my sales calls. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're willing to be fake on your sales calls, you are willing to wear that mask in your personal life. It's one of the things that's the core fundamental truths and beliefs of a unicorn closer is you don't have sales problems. You have personal problems that are showing up on your sales calls.
Then I'm fascinated. I'm in. Unless you want to talk about you. Does that encapsulate you? Personally, I don't give a shit about all that because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some fucking book. Unless you want to talk about you, who you are. Then I'm fascinated. I'm in. But you don't want to do that, do you, sport?
Then I'm fascinated. How many people around you are fascinated with you? I'll use Jacob again as an example. He was, and I'm sort of paraphrasing here, but he was frustrated that he thought he was more fascinating than other people could see how fascinating he was. And that's not just Jacob. That's all the future unicorns before they stepped into the unicorn identity. I bet that's you. I bet you think you're really interesting and original and fascinating, and you're like, other people just don't see it in me. Well, when you drop your ego, is it they and them that's the problem? Or is it maybe you're not as fascinating as you think you are because of the way that you show up in life, which is willing to, and again, this isn't about be fake because you're reading a script. It's about what? Knowing that you have a gut feeling, an action signal, a guiding light, an angel above you that's telling you what to do, and your ego thinks you know better. That's what's not fascinating in an individual. It's not fascinating to be a person that has guiding lights pointing you in the right divine destinical direction in life, and you're just ignoring it. That's not a fascinating person. That's a loser. That's a coward. That's someone that's scared. Like Robin Williams, Sean says to Will Hunting now, like, you don't want to do that, do you? You don't want to actually explore who you are because it feels scary. Fine. Continue to live the rest of your life where nobody around you finds you that fascinating or that interesting. And even worse, you're like, that's annoying because I think I am fascinating. Well, look at the results. We have to look at life at the results because that tells us the truth. If other people aren't flocking around you thinking you're really interesting as a person and they're magnetically attracted to you, you're not that interesting. So how about you actually become interesting, which is just being authentic. If you actually step into your authenticity and admit that you're scared of learning to sell without a script and go, I am scared. I'm afraid. I'm scared of fucking it up. I'm scared of, as I said at the start, going backwards a little bit in income. I'm scared of losing my status on calls and looking silly in front of my prospects and looking silly to myself in the mirror. But at least that's all authentic. At least that's all true. What's the alternative? You continue to do more weeks and more months selling of a script and not earning more money, not being in the right path to earn more money, not following your destiny. And as I said before, like knowing that you're just ignoring this sign inside of you. Like that's not a worthy, justifiable alternative.
You're terrified of what you might say.
You're terrified of what might happen on a sales call when you don't have your scripted questions in front of you. What you don't control controls you. Your fears own you. And unicorns don't like that. Future unicorns that are destined to be unicorns like, I don't want anything owning me. I want independence. You don't have independence by reading a script. Because by reading a script, you're actually allowing your fears to continue to run you, which means your fears own you. You don't own your fears and you don't own yourself. Is that not enough of a double bind for you to like be like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked. I need to do something about this.
You move, Chief.
Your move, Chief. Your move. I think I've said enough in this video. You've got everything you need in this training. Literally everything you need that you were sent to by the universe at the time when you were done reading scripts. Maybe you didn't even know you were done, but read the signs. You came to a video that said you'll find this video when you're done reading scripts. It wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence that you found that video when you're actually done reading scripts. Listen to what I said. Maybe you didn't even know you were done reading scripts, but the signs are on the wall. So, the reason I'm inviting you to stop reading and stop using sales scripts is not to earn more money, even though you will. It's not to become better skilled, even though you will, at sales and at life in communication, psychology, leadership. It's because the thing that is most like, I don't know what the word is, I'm looking for it in my notes here. The thing that is the most debilitating, devastating, and destructive is living life having never really lived. I'll leave you with this final, I guess, quote or point, we could call it, which is, in fact, there's 2 more points. There's a quote by Benjamin Franklin where he says, some people die at 25, but they aren't buried until 75. That's scripted closers. They're already dead. They're not living. They're not growing. They're not becoming. No matter how many days, weeks, months, years, or decades continue to pass when they read a script, they're already dead. They just haven't been buried yet. Is that the life you want, to be dead already, not becoming more? You've capped out? Like, that's your greatest potential already. You've already found it. Reading a script, borrowing someone else's words, tonality, and body language. That's you, really. You wouldn't be watching this video if that was you. So don't be the person that dies right now, that's already died, but just doesn't get buried until later. Don't be the person that settles for borrowed words, borrowed confidence, and borrowed identity, and ultimately, a borrowed life. The final other bit that I wanted to end with was basically a reframe of what I just said. It's the same thing in different words. I've met so many closers that have taken 10,000 sales calls, and they don't know a single thing about human beings. They don't know a single thing about internal mastery of themselves. They don't know a single thing about the experience of being a true closer. They're just a salesperson. They're just a carbon copy. They don't know anything about growth, about emotion, about pain, about truth, about service, about self-actualizing, yet they've taken 10,000 calls. The first day that you start to step into truth, leadership, service, knowing what it actually feels like to connect with a human being on a deep level and stare into their soul, the first day that you start to meet your true self, all of those things and many more, is the first day that you ditch the scripted sales scripts. It's the first sales call that you take where you have no scripted questions and you've committed to that new path. That's day 1. You might be on day 365 right now into sales, into high-ticket sales, into selling the script, but you're actually still on day 0 of real authenticity and growth and leadership and truly mastering being a closer. So remember this. You can take another 1,000 sales calls and not grow at all. You can take another 5,000 sales calls. You can take another 10,000 sales calls. Nothing is going to change, no matter how many more sales calls you take, until you change the way that you show up to taking those sales calls. Same person, same way, same methodology, just repeating again. There's no learning in that. There's no growing in that. There's no becoming in that. You grow, you change, you evolve, you transcend, you become when you step out of your comfort zone. 1,000 days inside your comfort zone, no growth. Your growth starts day 1 when you take that first step out of your comfort zone. So I think that's everything. I think the final bit to just wrap up is stop asking yourself, did I earn? Did I earn money? Did I close? Did I win? Did I become skilled? Start asking yourself, but did I actually live? Did I really live? Because for a unicorn, someone that's destined to be a unicorn, the whole point of this video, the 3 levels, money is not the highest value. Sales mastery is not the highest value. The highest value is becoming who you are capable of coming. And the reciprocal of that, the most painful thing, is knowing there's a very high reality and possibility that right now, if you don't change at the end of this video, you will die without ever truly knowing what you were capable of being. Is that something that you're willing to sacrifice? Not knowing what you were truly capable of. So, the way you find what you're truly capable of, and becoming who you're capable of becoming, that requires one thing that no sales script will ever give you: your own experience, which is what that clip from Good Will Hunting, I think that's the name of the movie. Yeah, Good Will Hunting. And that clip with Robin Williams playing Sean and Matt Damon playing Will Hunting is all about. Stop reading books, stop reading scripts, stop memorizing tonalities and faking rehearsed word tracks, role-playing your metaphors and analogies, and actually go and smell the Sistine Chapel for yourself. Actually turn up to a sales call with your own mind empty, fully present, fully tuned in, channeling authentic curiosity and leadership and service. If that is something that you are now ready to master, there is a link below this video to join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, where we live by these principles, not having a gut feeling that we don't see as an action signal and take action on. You had that gut feeling. There, you had that gut feeling. You had that action signal. It brought you here to this video that you were only going to find when you're done reading scripts. Don't let another day pass by when right now you can just click the link below the video. You can join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, because deep down you've always known the thing that will actually take you to the next level is being on the inside, being mentored directly by myself and my mentor, the Underground Mentor, and being around unicorn closers who are all living their own life and their own life experiences for themselves. If that is something that you are now ready to step into, the person that you are finally ready to unlock, your unicorn status, your unicorn birthright, click the link below the video. Join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, and I look forward to mentoring you on the inside.